Hello, and welcome to B-Movie Euphoria's VHS Roulette. It's back, yet again. We have a very special one today, at least I think so. Uh, I was very surprised by this film. Not a lot of weak moments, but a pretty, uh, I guess you'd say it's kind of a dumb film because it seems like it was written by somebody during like a late night Coke binge, and they just kind of left out certain things and just threw in a lot of boobs to cover up the flaws, which I guess it works for some movies, but this movie is insane. And I'm talking, of course, of Death Spa, where you'll sweat blood. And wow, what a film! What a time to be alive, really, in this the era of this film, because it just seems like what everybody really cared about was getting fit and just kind of getting laid, I guess, or getting naked. Like half of the cast in this movie, um, the female cast, they all get naked. It's just like naked fest everywhere. So I should get to the plot. I don't even know where to start. This film is insane. So this guy Michael owns a health spa called Star Body Health Spa, and the movie starts off with like lightning hitting the Star Body Health Spa sign, and health and body. It basically says Death Spa at the beginning. So right off the bat, you're like, okay, interesting. We see a woman doing a kind of flash dance routine all by herself, alone in the spa, and then she's taking a schwitz, um, getting sweaty, and suddenly the steam that's coming out, it starts hurting her. We don't know why, because the movie doesn't really want to explain a lot of things to you. It just kind of like, woo! Which, okay, it's fine. So she's basically trying to get out of the sweat room, and she has to ends up smashing the window, and then we find out later that it somehow made her blind. Um, okay, because apparently the steam that was coming in was mixed with chlorine, and chlorine is bad for you. Unless you're swimming in a pool, then drink as much as you want. I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, so we find out through a lot of kind of exposition, but it comes in pieces, basically. So we kind of, we're just dumped into the spa where a lot of really tight-bodied people, except for one guy, really. There's like this British comic relief guy named Freddie that is always working really. He's working out really hard, but he always has a funny shirt on, and he's the comic relief because he always does something silly. Um, the filmmakers don't really have a good concept of what's funny. Um, I think they were just going with, we will put a lot of attractive people in this. We'll have most of them take their clothes off and, put some blood in there. And I mean, it's a recipe for success. So, anyway, so Michael, this guy owns this place, the health spa. Uh, we find out that his wife killed herself by pouring gasoline on her own body and setting herself on fire. Wow. And the reason she did this was during labor with their child, she ended up breaking her back and had to be in a wheelchair. And she just got really depressed and, you know, sometimes you gotta set yourself on fire. That's They never really explain what happened to the child, though. A lot of stuff is left out of this movie, and you're wondering, okay, so did the child live? Clearly, the baby must not have, because Michael's kind of, you know, he's pretty fancy free with his time, and he's constantly flirting with basically anyone who goes there, and everybody wants this dude. But he also has a girlfriend, who is the girl from the beginning that somehow got blinded by the chlorine gas. And we also have, so we have some lesser stars in this movie. We have Ken Foray, which I'm not going to say lesser because he's one of our great horror B-movie actors. And Ken Foray is in it, of course, from Dawn of the Dead, the main actor from Dawn of the Dead. And he's in it, and then he's not in it. So he plays Michael's best friend, and they're constantly like joking around, having a good time. But then I think about halfway through the movie he disappears, and you're like, where's Ken? What happened to Ken? Where'd he go? And then he reappears at the end, and then you at least I was kind of like, where was? Never mind. So Michael, Ken Foray, his wife Catherine burned herself alive. We're slowly, there isn't a lot of mystery to this movie. Basically, she in some way is controlling the computerized mainframe of this spa. I'm hesitating here because so much stuff just doesn't make sense, and the movie isn't going to explain it to you. It's going to make it even more confounding than you could even imagine. Her brother, Michael's brother-in-law, runs the computer that runs the whole spa. Everything is run on automatic. There's nothing manual in the place. So if you sit down on a workout machine, it's going to work you out, you know? And that's not great because one guy, while doing this right here, it pulls him back, and for some reason, it's pulling him back, and his ribs explode. Like, I don't know anatomy, but wouldn't, like, this stuff, like the bone pop out or something? His ribs explode. What? Why? Anyway, so things like that are happening everywhere. A diving board comes loose and girl almost dies when a bunch of women are showering in the shower room. The tiles start popping off the wall and start hitting them. Just nonstop things are just happening to people. People are dying, disappearing, and this is one of those movies where people just kind of ignore things because the police come and they question Michael and his brother David, and they're like, what? All this shit is happening. It's got to be the computers, right? Some sort of malfunction. And David is just like, it's not the computers. And David is played by this great actor who was actually in a couple of Star Trek films, and sadly, this is his last film. He might have done one more, but he died shortly after making this film of complications of AIDS. So that's another super 80s thing about this movie. But he's very good in it. And, yeah, it's just insane. So people start dying left and right. The cops come, but nothing's really done about it. And everybody just kind of goes on like nothing's really happening. And, but Michael doesn't want his patrons to die, so he goes to a paranormal investigator named Dr. Lido Moray, who, in the first time we see him, he's waving this electronic wand over a cigarette case and basically telling the dark, macabre history of this cigarette case, just basically to show off to Michael that He knows what he's doing. So Michael gives him a pendant and of Catherine's, and this is where we find out all about why she set herself on fire, why she's probably haunting him, and why she's killing all these people. That part doesn't really make sense. But whatever, we're gonna keep going. Uh, so this movie is absolutely wild. It's basically, this is how it goes. Workout, 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 death scene, cops come, and nothing really is done about it. And then workout, workout, workout. There's a lot of good, weird little scenes in between where there's one scene where one character we see and then we never see again throughout the entire movie. She goes up to another character and basically asks him to show off for her. And he's like, I only show off for winners. I'm Beta, you're VHS. So, news to you, buddy. Beta didn't make it. Okay, VHS didn't make it either, but anyway, so we've got a paranormal investigator, at least, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. We've got David, who clearly something's going on with him. We're seeing flashes of him by himself speaking to his dead sister, and some weird noises going on. But nothing is really defined in this movie. Nothing is this, that is that. It's just death, 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 blood, pretty good effects, some really crazy stuff happening, like one woman's looking in a mirror, and then the mirror starts wobbling, and it explodes out. It explodes her head. Like, a lot of these kills are just like, why? Why is this happening? But at the same time, they're very entertaining, and this is a lot of fun. So, anyway, we've got the paranormal investigator at least looking into it, and then, despite all of these deaths, disappearances, accidents, they decide to have a costume party. Because, of course, nothing's going to happen there. The movie kind of culminates in this insane Carrie-like ending. So this movie was just combining all of these horror movies, all of these cliches, just putting everything it could. But at the same time, it felt very cheap. But not in a bad way. Cheap isn't always bad. Cheap is good. Like, Dollar General. This is the Dollar General of horror movies right here. Anyway, so Catherine basically, I'm not going to ruin anything by saying Catherine is possessing David's body, making him do things he doesn't want to do. This huge, explosive, blood-drenched finale where we have dead fish are attacking people. People are getting attacked with multivitamins, and sticks are sticking out of people's heads out of nowhere. People are getting trampled. It just becomes an all-out, insane bloodbath from the depths of a coke-deranged mind. And it's fun. This movie is really, really fun. I'm trying to... I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm not going to say too much else other than it's insane. And I think it's on Amazon right now. This one will blow your mind. The closest film, it's definitely got some hints of Carrie in it, but the closest film that I felt this was like was Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, which is a great film. Way better than this, but this is still good. It's a snapshot of an 80s uh, just like a microcosm of the 80s. And if you like the 80s and you enjoy pretty cheesy effects that are effective, even if they're pretty cheesy, then you're gonna love this. And it has actually has a great song at the end, Killer Groove. So wait till the end, and you'll get your, your groove on. So I would say watch it, enjoy it, maybe work out to it. It might be a great workout film, and you can just look up every once in a while and see someone's skull get smushed or someone get boiled alive by a fire extinguisher, um, and get your reps in while you're doing it. Anyway, thank you for watching VHS Roulette. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.